Hey, friends! Welcome to the Swing My Heart podcast. Come join me, your host, Nicole, for some hope-filled conversations about heartfelt entertainment that makes your heart swing. Hey, Hearties and Hallmarkies and Heinies. Welcome to the Swing My Heart podcast. I'm your host, Nicole, joined once again by my good friend Stephanie from the Heart in Motion podcast to talk about Christmas Above the Clouds, starring Tyler Hines and Aaron Krakow. It was written by Christine Garber and Stephanie Jackson and directed by Peter Benson. Eager to avoid Christmas, Ebenezer, a CEO, books an international trip that skips the holiday until three spirits journey Ella through her life to rediscover her Christmas spirit. Welcome back to the podcast, Stephanie.
Thanks for the invite. I'm so excited to chat with you and to talk about this movie.
Yes, I am too. I think it was amazing.
I do
So,
too. I mean, I've got some things to say, but overall, I loved it.
yes, me too. So, what were your first snow impressions of this movie?
Well, first of all, I watched this movie for the first time on the plane ride home from the Christmas cruise. So I definitely had to go back and do a rewatch just to make sure I wasn't way too tired and didn't pick up on all the fun details. But my initial reaction was that I thought it was really clever how they played it off of A Christmas Carol. And then, of course, seeing Aaron and Tyler back together did not disappoint. That was my overall impression.
I think it was great. And I think my first impression, that's a tough one. I'll say best Christmas Carol adaptation Hallmark has ever done.
How many? So, can you give me some of the other ones?
Oh
Am
my
I putting you
goodness.
on the spot there?
Uh, the only one I can think of other than this one is Ghost of Christmas Always. But I'm sure that there's a couple others. So Hallmarkies, drop them in the comments.
Is that the one with Kim?
Matula.
Is it
Yeah.
Matula? The one that, okay, yeah, which I liked that one. I thought
Yeah.
that was kind of my first seeing her outside of like the daytime soap
Mhm.
world. And I kind of became a fan watching her on that one. So I like that one too.
Yeah, I think that was from 2022, if I'm correct. Yeah, it
About
was
that. Yeah. Yeah,
one of my favorites of 2022, I think.
I would agree.
Yeah.
It was up there at the top for me.
Yes. And I think another first impression I'll say is I think this is one of Erin's best roles aside from When Calls the Heart, like Hallmark movie wise. She did a
Interesting.
fantastic job.
Yeah, I mean, this was definitely an Aaron heavy
Yeah.
storyline.
Yeah.
And she had a lot to tackle, and
Yeah.
she did a fantastic job.
She
Allowed her
did.
to showcase a lot of range,
Hmm.
which I thought was really fun to watch.
Yes. Way to go, Erin. So, Candy Canes and Cole, which is our highs, lows, and plot holes. What were some highs for you in this movie?
I'm going to go back to the overall idea of how they took A Christmas Carol, and so many different ways they tied it back, but it wasn't gimmicky. I thought they did a really nice job of making this story stand on its own, but yet you could still make those connections to A Christmas Carol. Um, that was definitely, I've got other highs. I don't want to, there's so many further down our list, but that was definitely a strength for me. There was so many special effects that needed to happen in this movie that I thought they did a really good job of pulling that off.
Yeah, I think so too. For me, strong performances and chemistry with Aaron and Tyler. I
For
mean, we
sure.
already knew that they had fantastic chemistry from It Was Always You, another favorite movie of mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fantastic supporting cast. We have Emily Tennant as Bobby, Christine Chatelaine. I apologize if I mispronounced her name, as Frances, who was her sister. She was in When Calls the Heart. She played Laurel Miller in season one. Faith Wright as the Ghost of Christmas Past. Matthew Clark, The Ghost of Christmas Present. Matthew Clark was in When Calls the Heart. He played Murphy McBride,
What was
who
that?
tried to go on a date with Katie Yost.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will add, and I had that down, that definitely one of the first impressions slash highs for me was this supporting cast.
Yeah.
I just felt like Emily Tennant, Faith Wright
Mm-hmm.
did I mean, all of them did.
Yeah.
They just did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed watching them. So
Yeah.
love the supporting
Yes.
cast.
Peter Benson, David Attar, Jalise Green. Of course, Eric Gow as Pip.
Love the name that he's Pip.
He had me laughing out loud. I think there's one particular scene I'll mention in a few minutes, but
Okay.
he did a great job. Also, Kevin O'Grady, who was in Garage Sale Mysteries as the detective that
Yeah.
Laurie's character worked with,
Yeah.
and and then Eileen Petty, I think I pronounced that right,
Okay.
as Tim's grandmother, and she played Douglas Burke's mother in season 4.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so well done to the
Yeah.
supporting cast.
Yeah.
Fresh creative twist on a familiar story. I thought that the emotional beats were really well done, as well as the relatable themes. And I think it also had a nice balance of heart, humor, and romance.
Yeah. I agree. Good job.
Also, the production value and creative touches I thought were nice.
Yeah.
Did you have any lows for this movie that you wanted to mention?
I did
Okay.
actually have a low. The one thing that I sometimes get hung up on with these types of movies is you want to root for your character.
Mhm.
And there were moments where I just really didn't like her. Early
Okay.
on, just really established that I mean, we learned very quickly. I even wrote down the time, 5:22. We get a smile out of her. We
Mhm.
see that there's things that she's gone through that she is holding on to. And so it brings some validity to her harshness. But there were just times where I was like, sometimes it's hard. I think I get too much wrapped up into the character and I go, how much of that is just your hurt and its bitterness versus how much of that is actually your character? And for her to be that harsh and mean to her employees, I was like, man, that line
Mhm.
is really close there for me. I wish they would have dialed it back just a little bit, but I do like that quickly 5:22 we get a smile out of her and
Mhm.
we see what she's holding on to.
Yeah. For me, I couldn't really find any lows, but I definitely see what you're saying. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I thought she did a very good job, but there probably could have been moments when she could have been a little bit nicer.
Well, I mean, she's
Yeah.
she's reading what she's given. She did a
Yeah.
fantastic
Yeah.
job of playing the bitter,
The Scrooge. Yeah.
hurt, putting up a wall
Hmm.
person, and we do learn where what all that stems from. She covered it. She nailed it.
Yes.
But I
She
was
did.
like, oh, I want her to be a little bit softer, just so and I can hold on to that. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I agree.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Going to Scene Slayer, which is Scene Stealer. What were the 3 best scenes for you in this movie?
The first one that I really just laughed really hard at was the bathroom scene when
Oh.
she pops back from Christmas past. And not only when Jake shows up at the bathroom, but even when she's in there and the life vest
Okay.
pops and why am I popping up in the bathroom? The door opens up, he comes in, they have a
Mhm.
conversation, and then the door opens again and this girl is standing there. Just those beats and that back to back to back
Yeah.
comedy had me laughing. That was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Another one was I loved at the end when she just made everything right with Bobby.
Mm.
It wasn't just about fixing things with
Mm.
Bobby, but it really helped us to see not only was she trying to fix things with Jake and get the love of her life back, but she was so compassionate and caring for this person that has stood by her, who was willing to like get on a plane and leave her child. And just the way that they fixed that in that moment, I loved. And then my third one, I loved the diner scene and the
Mm,
dance and then that amazing kiss. So those
yeah.
were my three of my, I mean, there were many, but those were
Yeah.
the three that really stood out to me.
Yeah. I really honestly wanted to write down almost every single scene. I'm not even kidding.
I was good. I agree. Yeah.
Yes. So besides the ones that you mentioned, because those were on my list too, I really enjoyed all the scenes in the past, that Faith Wright's character took her to, like the boarding school scene when she was a kid and, her sister comes in and singing
Yes.
what was it, 12 Days of Christmas song, I think.
With the cats and
Yes,
the,
the
yeah.
cats and the dogs.
Yeah.
Also, the meet cute with Jake and Ella in the library when he says, "You were always so pretty, pretty busy." Nice save, Jake.
Yes.
Also, the talk on the bench, that kind of goes along with the library scene. Jake and Ella's dance at the office Christmas party in the past and the kiss under the mistletoe. I think that was probably a top scene for me. That was such a cute scene.
And I did have down their meet in the library.
Yeah.
That would really help establish for me
Yeah.
like how much she had shifted. It
Hmm.
helped me to kind of handle a little bit of the harshness better
Hmm. Yeah.
because he just lit her up and she was flirty. And so I also had down their first meeting.
Yeah. That was a great one. Ella at the Center for a Child's Success. That's Jake's charity in the present. That was a nice
Mhm.
moment. And we see Jake,
Mhm.
interacting with the kids, and he's got the reindeer ears on and the Christmas themed
Yes.
glasses and the
Yes.
Rudolph nose. That was so cute. Also, the talk by the tree and then the Christmas morning montage, I thought was really nice.
No, I'll save one of them because it works for a different category. I
Okay.
loved when she's talking to Bobby and she said, "This is my Jake." So they
Yes, that
showed
was
they
really
showed
cute.
both a moment where she, said what she was thinking, a little Freudian slip, and then he did the same thing. So I thought it was nice that they balanced it out, that they both said things that they didn't really mean to say out loud.
Yes, I love that. That was in the
Yeah.
meet
Yeah.
cute. The meet
Yes.
cute.
Yes.
A couple honorable mentions. Ella meeting Pip, Eric Gal. That scene was hilarious.
Oh my goodness. And I just want to ask one of them, like, how did you keep a straight face when he like basically ends up in her lap? His face is down like in her face singing. How did she keep a straight face?
I don't know. In a way, I feel like Pip kind of reminds me of Edwin. I'm not gonna lie.
There's definitely some channeling of Edwin going on there. That's for sure.
So way to go, Eric Gal. He is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I think the last honorable mention I'll say is Ella after seeing the present and the future moments. So in the present, when she gets back from seeing all those moments, she says, "Spirits, just put me back in my seat next time, okay?"
Yeah.
And then her reaction to, being back in the present after seeing the heartbreaking future scenes. Oh, and can you say trigger for the grave site scene?
Oh, I didn't even think of that. That is crazy that you thought of that.
Triggered.
Wow. That's so funny. I didn't even think of that.
And the scream was like almost the exact same.
The same color. They used the same lighting in the darkness for sure.
Hmm.
Yes.
But very well done to Erin. She did a great job.
Yeah.
Who do you think had the best performance in this movie?
Oh, well, I mean, I would have to give it to Erin
Erin.
just
Yeah.
because, I mean, this was her story.
Hmm.
It was a love story, but it really was her story. And there, like I said earlier, there were so many different, the highs and the lows and the stunts and the
Hmm.
popping in and out of places, the emotions that she had to cover. But I gotta say, like, this movie isn't this movie without her and Tyler
Mm-mm.
together, and that
Yeah.
supporting cast was fantastic as
Yeah.
well.
I
So,
agree. I'll
yeah.
say Erin. Also, there were a couple of moments with Tyler that really blew me away. Like, there was one in particular. It was when he was in his apartment in the present, when he's about to leave for the airport, and he looks at
The picture.
the
Yeah.
photo
Yeah.
frame, like the transitioning photo frame
Yes.
with, photos
Yeah.
of them.
Yes.
And he says, "Merry Christmas, Ella, wherever you are." And she says, "I'm right here." And it's like he could feel her
He
there.
feels it. Yeah.
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 So that was one in particular that really blew me away. But
Hmm.
everyone did a fantastic job.
I agree.
What was the best quote of the movie for you?
I don't know that I had a best
Oh, that's
quote.
fine. No worries. I wrote down a couple, so this is kind of a comical one. What the dickens?
Oh,
That
that
was
was cute. That was cute. Yeah.
also the one from Jake. I think it was like three-fourths of the way into the movie, maybe closer to the end, when he says, "It's never too late to change."
He makes a comment about work being her favorite Christmas tradition. And
Yeah.
while that's definitely not where we want the movie to go, it was a really good
Hmm.
way for him to say why they broke up.
Yeah.
And it really just defined what the whole story was about. Like, what
Hmm.
was that thing between them?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Also, I wrote down Ella's quote when they're in the diner: "If you don't need anyone, you don't have anyone. And I don't want to go through my life alone. I don't want to go through my life without you."
Hmm.
That was so sweet.
And the I love you. I mean, we got the I love you. So
Yes, we got the "I love you." I think the diner scene was probably the best scene in the movie.
it just really gave time for us to
Yeah.
see why Aaron and Tyler are so good together.
Yes, I agree. So going to Behind the Garland, which is behind the frame, what were your thoughts on some of the creative choices in this movie, from the director's vision to the cinematography, production design, and music? And then I'll go into the others.
Well, fantastic to production design to create this airplane.
Hmm.
The way that it was designed, I mean, when you know you're going to have a lot of scenes on a fake airplane, right? It was
Hmm.
so well done. But also then all of those special effects, the camera, flipping the scenes, all of that that
Yeah.
went into that, her jumping from, past and back
Yeah.
to present. There were so many special effects that happened in
Yeah.
this movie that it was really well done.
Yes. Peter did a great job with directing. I think he really leaned into the transitions, the lighting shifts, the character-driven moments, rather than the grand supernatural displays. He focused on the human connection and two former loves forced together in a confined
Did.
space. So he did a
Yeah.
great job. I thought the cinematography was well done. I thought we saw a nice balance of, maybe some wide shots and then some close-up shots. So well
Hmm.
done to the
Yeah.
cinematographer. I
A lot
think,
of movement of the cameras for sure.
yeah, that credit goes to Graham Talbot.
Yeah.
Production design goes to Lloyd Stone. Well done to both of them. I thought the music was really great. Costume and prop design, I think, was well done. What were your thoughts on the costume and prop design?
The only thing that I was curious about was how in the world did she keep that white jumpsuit clean the whole time? Did she have multiple of those? Because there were a lot of scenes with that on. Was it to represent, like, why did we go white? Was it the ghost
Yeah,
thing? I don't know. It wasn't distracting. I
yeah,
just
yeah.
found it interesting for that choice.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I actually thought the same thing. Like, why
And
white?
hey, let's just
Yeah,
give props to the scarf, because the scarf in the story and him giving it to her
yeah.
and then it coming back and even her, calling out the color, which I thought that her, the crimson, I don't do crimson, blah, 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 was really
Hmm.
good. But I love that, they had that touch with the scarf that came back.
Yes, I agree. Also, for me, I thought the editing was very well done. Some of the transitions that they did between the, past and present scenes,
Mm.
present to the future, et cetera, were really well done. Like the scenes in the present when Matthew Clark's character, the Ghost of Christmas Present, was using the wheel looking kind of thing
Yes,
to
and he
like go
turns
in
the
between
camera.
scenes. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
very well done.
Yes.
Going to Beyond the Mistletoe, which is beyond the credits, what were some themes and symbolism for you in this movie?
Well, we get right off when Marlene is talking about the chains that she's wearing. And we find, I mean, that really establishes for us what is happening here. I love at the very end that when she comes back after going into the future and she says how she will always operate with kindness and charity. Well,
Mhm.
there's our themes right there, right? She had
Yeah.
gotten away from kindness and charity and the whole spirit of Christmas. So, those were the big ones that stood out to me.
Yeah. Same for me. I also wrote down redemption and second chances.
Yeah.
That's shown through Ella being forced to confront her life choices and the mistakes she's made.
Hmm.
Prioritizing relationships over a career was a big one
For sure.
because throughout most of the movie, we saw how Ella neglected a lot of her relationships, whether that was with Jake or Bobby or her other coworkers, her family, even, her sister. Success is empty without love and connection. And I think that's what Marlene was
Yeah,
saying.
absolutely. That whole storyline of her
Hmm.
sister understanding her. And it wasn't just about she was hurt from Jake and getting all caught up in work, but there were things that happened to her as a child.
Yeah.
And her sister understood that and stayed by her. So I love that, family, like she had that person that, and we even hear her, brother-in-law kind
Mhm.
of catch himself like, oh, I just need to be nice, right?
Yeah.
I also loved the idea that Jake never stopped loving her and he couldn't move on. That's a familiar,
I
right?
was just about to say that.
Yeah.
Where have
So,
we heard that before?
yep.
Nathan
Yeah.
Grant.
Yeah.
I think some symbols for me were the airplane, the ghost of past, present, and future, and then Tiny Tim.
Again, like I said early on, we had those little moments, even the
Yeah.
math, even the kid with the math,
Oliver.
Yeah. All loved that, but it wasn't forced. It was cute.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the kid that played Tim was so cute. He did such a good job.
Wonderful job. Yeah.
Yes. I've seen him in a couple of other Hallmark projects. I can't put my finger on which ones, but he's a great young actor.
It'll be cool to see what happens
Yeah.
with him.
Yes. What would you say is the overall message of this movie, and how do you think that that message applies to today?
Mm. Well, I think you nailed it a minute ago when she
Mhm.
just got so caught up in what she thought was success. And for her to hear, even from Marlene after life,
Mhm.
that she was wrong and don't listen to me, it's not what will bring you
Mhm.
happiness. And then again, just that idea of
Mhm.
kindness and charity and how important they are. Those were the big ones for me. And
Yeah.
then, just true love.
True love. Yes. I feel the same. And the message for me, I think, goes off of what you were saying. True success and happiness are found in human connection and love, not in professional achievements or material wealth. Everyone deserves a second chance to acknowledge past mistakes, open their heart to vulnerability, and prioritize relationships with family and loved ones over career ambitions.
Mhm.
So I loved this movie. Always love a movie with a good message to it.
Yeah.
And this one was very well done.
Yes, I agree. So far, honestly, with Hallmark, so far this season, we've had solid, good movies. They really cut back this year. They've gotten rid of, the movies over on mysteries and
Mm-hmm.
dialed it back a little bit over here. And so far, I'm surprised. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not surprised because, Hallmark can put out a good movie. I
Yeah.
just like the direction that they've went with it because I feel like what we've seen so far has really been good quality.
When I first found out that they weren't doing Miracles of Christmas, I was a little bummed. I'm not going to lie.
Because
But
they're some of the best. Last year, they were
yeah,
some of the best.
yes, I
A
agree.
reason for a season. All right,
Yes.
go.
But honestly, I can say right now, I don't miss Miracles of Christmas. I know some people
No,
might.
and they've done a good job of bringing those over
Yeah.
and putting them on like a Sunday night.
Yes.
It's been good. It's been
Yeah,
good.
I agree. I haven't
Yeah.
seen all the 2025 Christmas movies yet, but I will plan to watch some of them
I
soon.
think I've seen all of them, but maybe one, and so far so good.
I think the only ones I've seen are Newport, Keller Christmas Vacation, and this one, and maybe one other one. I haven't seen the first two. I haven't seen Merry Christmas, Ted Cooper, and I feel like there's one
Oh,
more.
you got to watch that one. I haven't seen Keller because I was on a boat.
Yeah.
Um, but Merry Christmas, Ted Cooper. Funny story, because I know we're trying to keep this
Yeah.
at our time. But I've been telling everybody about my Christmas cruise at work, and people are finding out more about how much I love Hallmark and all of that. And today, our security officer got kicked out of his office because somebody else was using it. And he's been like, why would I
Mm.
watch Hallmark? So I said, give me 5 minutes. And I pulled up on my TV in my office, Merry Christmas, Ted Cooper. And he was laughing so hard. And then we had to get back to work. And he's like, that was actually funny. I'm like, I'm
Oh,
telling you, it's a good one. It's a
yeah.
really good one.
I can't wait to watch that one. I've
And
heard.
right now on IMDb, it outranks Villa Amore. The only
Wow.
reason why I'm still saying Villa Amore is one is because I separate out Christmas from
Yeah, I
non-Christmas.
agree.
But last
Yeah.
time I checked, it was like 7.5. So
Yeah. That's awesome.
yeah.
But Villa Amore was great too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Final sleigh bell, which is final frame. What are your closing thoughts on this movie? Watch or skip, and then a rating on a scale of 1 to 5 candy canes.
I would watch this one for sure. You're not going to go wrong showing up to see Aaron Krakow and Tyler Hines in a movie together. Peter Benson is a fantastic director. The Talbot twins do a great job
Yeah.
as DPs, and I loved the script was clever. It wasn't over the top. When you're working with quality people like that, they're going to have a good production.
Yeah.
As far as rating, I'm giving it a 4. And that's
Okay.
only because I really only want to give like 1 or 2 5s this season. Now, I may
Okay.
go back and decide I'm making it a 5,
Okay.
but I don't know that I would make it my top movie this season. But I would totally tell people to watch it.
Okay. Yeah. That's totally fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
And 4 is great. I would say definitely watch. I think it's going to be one of my top favorites of the year. And I'll say 5 candy canes.
She's from the South. They're so generous.
I try to be careful too, though, like you.
Yeah.
I don't want
I
to
don't
give
want to give a ton
fives.
of 5s. That's just the educator in me.
Yes.
But it was good.
Yes. I will say this is my only 5 so far of the season.
Nice. So it would be your favorite. That's
Yes.
great. Yeah.
Yeah. I gave Newport, I think, 4.5 and a Keller Christmas Vacation 4. So,
I would make this one for me. I would put this one right there with a Newport Christmas. They're
yeah.
vastly different. But as far as overall, all of it together, I would put them both there.
Yeah. So, well done to the entire cast and crew. Great job. This was so much fun, Stephanie. Thank you for joining me. I had a great time, as always.
Thank you so much for the invite. I always love to come on and talk about good projects, celebrating the stories that move us. That's what the podcast is about for me. So
Yes. And you are welcome anytime. I can't wait to have you back on again in the future.
thanks so much.
Yes. Maybe for a Win Calls the Heart review
Maybe.
with Brennan and I, because we will be reviewing it and you are welcome to join us.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Love it.
Hard to believe season 13 is almost here.
Gosh, it's crazy.
So before we wrap up, do you just want to quickly share your experience about the Christmas cruise? If you're
Oh,
interested?
sure. No, it was a little bit tricky getting on the boat when you're trying to get 4,300 people on the boat. And it was hot. So it didn't quite start out great, but it quickly turned around once everybody got settled. And the sail abrasion was that Thursday night. I gotta say, my overall, because I could talk for a very long
Yeah.
time about this, and I'll probably do an Instagram live.
Okay.
But getting to be involved in some of the things that I got to be involved in and see these Hallmark stars, I don't know if they ever slept. Like full on, hardworking, quality people, kind, generous. They showed up to be there for the fans, and I was so impressed. I already, thought they were fantastic people, but I was thoroughly. And not just the stars, but the Hallmark people that were there, you could tell were really committed to providing a great experience for everybody that was on the boat. So it's a way different experience, I will say, than HFR or going to Kansas City. There's pros and cons to both of them, but I loved the cruise.
No, I'm so happy that you got that experience, and I'm happy for everyone else that got to experience that too.
Yeah, it was
It
great.
looked like so much fun, and even not being there, just from seeing the post, the way that the Hallmark actors interact with their fans, it's unreal.
Unreal.
It,
And all of us that went, I have so much more footage. I'm probably going to be, pushing out Christmas cruise footage for months because there were just so many, there were so many things to do and enjoy. So the only regret I have is I never made it down the water slide and I never made it on the go-kart.
Oh,
and
no.
I was determined to get on the go-kart and it didn't happen.
Oh, no.
Those were my 2 moments of regret, but
Oh, maybe next time.
maybe.
Yes. Hallmarkies, if you want to check out her Christmas cruise content, make sure to go follow her at Stephanie_Heart in Motion.
Nice job, Nicole.
Thanks. All right, Hallmarkies, Hearties, and Heinies. I think that wraps up our review of Christmas Above the Clouds. If you enjoyed this episode and are watching on YouTube, you can like this video and share your thoughts about the movie in the comments. If you were listening on Spotify, make sure to rate and review, as your feedback is always greatly appreciated. If you want to stay up to date on all of my Christmas movie reviews and any interviews that I may do throughout the Christmas season, you can subscribe to this channel on YouTube and follow along on Spotify, and make sure to turn on the bell so you are alerted when those new episodes come. You can also find the podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at Swing My Heart Podcast, and Twitter at Swing My Heart Pod. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a wonderful day or night wherever you are in the world, and I will see you next time. Love y'all. Bye.